A strange new object has entered the inner solar system, and it's not behaving like anything we've ever seen before. Discovered months ago and now lighting up telescopes around the world, the interstellar visitor, designated 3I Atlas, has thrown astronomers into a frenzy. On the surface, it looks like a comet. Fuzzy core, some jets, irregular orbit. But what if I told you that? It's accelerating against gravity. It doesn't have a tail, and it just turned bluer than the sun. 3I Atlas isn't just another interstellar rock. According to Dr. Avi Loeb of Harvard, it maneuvered. Let that sink in. Right now, in November 2025, telescopes from NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, the Virtual Telescope project in Italy, and even the Galileo project in Las Vegas are capturing something that, if confirmed, would rewrite humanity's place in the cosmos. Could this be the first probe from another civilization? And more urgently, why is it heading toward Earth just 6 days before Christmas? We're diving deep into data, expert testimony, congressional briefings, and new sky imagery to uncover what 3I Atlas really is. And if you're fascinated by interstellar mysteries, space probes, or unexplainable physics, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below where you're watching from. I read all your comments, because by the end of this video, you'll see why many now believe this might not be a comet at all. It might be a mothership. And what happens on December 19th could change history forever. Let's rewind. The story of 3I Atlas began quietly, as many space mysteries do. In September 2025, a faint speck was logged by the Atlas system, the asteroid terrestrial impact last alert system in Hawaii. Initially unremarkable, this faint blur became the third known object from outside our solar system, after Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019. That's right, 3I means third interstellar, and yet within weeks something was off. Using open access tools like Stellarium and SkyLive, amateur astronomers across Europe began noticing strange behaviour. From their backyard setups to observatories in Chile and Italy, they all noticed one thing. The object wasn't where it was supposed to be. It deviated from the predicted trajectory, ever so slightly at first. But by late October it was clear. NASA's JPL Horizons database confirmed the anomaly. So did teams at Harvard, Caltech, and the Virtual Telescope project in Ceccano, Italy, led by Dr. Gianluca Marsi. It wasn't just a speed up, it was a directional shift, and that shouldn't be possible. 3I Atlas reaches perihelion, its closest point to the Sun, at 203 million kilometers away. That's roughly halfway between Earth and Mars. It should have been heated, shedding mass, forming a tail. That's what comets do. Instead, there was no tail, no symmetrical gas emission, just 7 tight jets, observed by Italian scopes protruding from one side of the object like thrusters. But even more bizarre, as the object turned past the Sun, it got bluer. Yes, bluer than the Sun itself, which radiates at 5800 Kelvin. That doesn't make sense. For a comet to emit shorter wavelengths than the Sun, it would need to be even hotter, which contradicts every known thermal model. A comet that's cooler, but glowing hotter. Spectral analysis from both the Galileo project in Nevada and the ESA Solar Orbiter reveals a nickel-rich composition with a low iron ratio. That's not typical cometary material. Nickel is reflective. It's industrial. It's manufactured? Maybe. Or maybe there's another explanation, one we're not ready for. Here's where it gets strange. Again, on November 3rd, solar activity from sunspot AR3480 triggered a significant Class X flare. Satellites from NASA's SOHO and the Solar Dynamics Observatory recorded solar radiation near 770 watts per square metre at the location of 3I Atlas. That's enough energy to bake it, vaporise volatile materials, eject dust. Instead, even more, those jets seemed directional, not random, not spherical outgassing like you'd expect from ice exposed to the Sun. The object changed its course by a few degrees, not tumbling, not spinning chaotically like a comet, but veering, as if steering. Observatories in Chile, Hawaii, Italy, and even radio arrays in South Africa all confirmed the shift. And then on November 6th, it brightened by a factor of 5. That's not a flare, that's a signal. If you overlay the current trajectory of 3i Atlas, plane of the ecliptic, moving near Koplana with our solar system's planets, you'll find it brushes past a historical mark. The WOW signal, recorded in 1977 by Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope, remains one of the most famous unexplained radio bursts ever received. And 3i Atlas, its approach vector is within 9 degrees of that original signal origin. Coincidence? Many think not. In fact, underground forums and fringe theorists are buzzing with talk of reconnection, data loops, even return missions. Could 3i Atlas be the source of the WOW signal? Or the response? We don't know. Yet. On November 7th, Harvard astrophysicist Dr. Avi Loeb appeared on Newsmax in a now viral interview. His words were simple. It manoeuvred. Loeb, the same man who led the call for serious scientific investigation into Oumuamua, isn't jumping to conclusions, but he's clear. This behaviour doesn't match anything natural. In meetings on Capitol Hill, including with Reverend Anna Paulina Luna, Loeb urged Congress to declassify upcoming imagery from NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which took high-res frames of 3i Atlas during its solar pass. Those images, still unreleased. That silence is louder than any signal. Right now, only one public institution is feeding regular images of 3i Atlas, the Virtual Telescope project in Italy. Under Dr. Gianluca Massi, their team captured back-to-back time-lapse frames between November 6-9, showing the object pulse, then glow blue, then fade again. The challenge? NASA has not released its high-rise, high-resolution imaging science experiment data. The European Space Agency has remained diplomatically quiet, but new chatter suggests China's Chang'e mission may be preparing to pivot sensors toward the object. It's become a race, not to land, but to understand. And with December 19th approaching, time is running out. 3i Atlas is now moving at over 150 kilometers per second. That's 3 times faster than any Earth-made spacecraft. Its approach is not on a collision course, but its closest pass will occur on December 19, 2025, just 6 days before Christmas. According to Harvard simulations, this moment will be our best shot at clarity. And possibly contact. High-resolution radar from Arecibo's successor projects in Greenbank and Goldstone will bounce data toward it. Infrared sensors on JWST and optical tracking from Chile's VLT will zero in. What happens then will define the mystery. We've said it before, but it can't be overstated. This object has no tail. It's losing mass between 10-20% according to spectral thinning, but instead of a coma or icy stream, it's concentrated. Imagine jets pointing backward like rocket engines, without the messy gas cloud you'd expect. It's a tidy, engineered outflow, not a chaotic cometary burp. Models from Caltech show that to achieve this kind of non-gravitational acceleration, 3i Atlas would need to eject 5 billion tons of mass in a directional pattern. An engineering marvel, if intentional. Could sublimation alone do that? Or is something else, someone, behind it? We'll explore more theories soon. Are you following this story live as it unfolds? Let me know in the comments. Do you think 3i Atlas is natural or something artificial? And if you want continued updates as we approach December 19th, make sure you're subscribed. I'll be covering the radar imaging, the JWST attempts, and any data NASA finally drops. The next few weeks could change our view of the universe. It's hard to overstate just how bizarre the behaviour of 3i Atlas is, even for something travelling at 150 kilometers per second. To put that into context, this speed is 3 times faster than any man-made rocket. It's practically cosmic lightning, a blur through our solar system. But it's not just about speed. The most staggering anomaly, non-gravitational acceleration. Scientists initially thought the object's speed-up could be attributed to solar radiation pressure. That's where sunlight hits the surface of an object, pushing it forward. Think of how a solar sail works. But the physics here don't line up. The forces involved just can't account for the directional shift seen in the data. Let's break it down. If 3i Atlas were acting like a normal comet, its tail should be pushed directly away from the sun, a straightforward result of sunlight vaporizing volatile materials. But what we're seeing is different. The jets are directional, and the object is veering off course. This isn't a random tumbling rock. It's a carefully aimed acceleration. To make matters even more bizarre, calculations show that to create this kind of maneuver, 5 billion tons of mass would need to be ejected, like a jet engine firing at full throttle. That's the equivalent of a large asteroid breaking apart and pushing itself forward with jets. But this isn't an asteroid. The material is nickel-rich and metallic. It's closer to something you might find in industrial manufacturing than a simple icy comet. And even more strange, the mass loss does not match any natural process we've ever seen. Could this object actually be powered by some kind of propulsion? It's a question that demands answers, and fast. The scientific community has been scrambling to explain these strange phenomena, and new discoveries continue to unfold. In this section, we'll break down the first 5 anomalies, numbered, catalogued, and thoroughly analysed. The first anomaly, the fuzzy core without a tail. What was observed? The object's core is not a traditional dirty snowball coma, but a fuzzy ball with no visible tail. What should happen normally? A comet should form a tail as it nears the sun, with gas and dust streaming off the nucleus due to the heat. Statistical improbability, the chance of a comet not forming a tail, with its trajectory, mass and proximity to the sun, is less than 1%. The data shows a tail may have been intentionally omitted. The most reasonable explanation: it's possible that the core itself is not icy at all. Instead, it could be a metallic structure, a remnant of something far more engineered. What was observed? The object is speeding up without any gravitational assist. It should be slowing down as it moves farther from the sun. What should happen normally? A comet should slow down as it exits the sun's gravity well, not speed up. Solar radiation pressure is insufficient to account for the observed change in trajectory. Statistical improbability. The likelihood of this anomaly occurring in a natural comet is less than 0.01%. It's virtually impossible unless there's an external force at work. Possible technological explanation. Some scientists hypothesize this could be internal propulsion, a propulsion system perhaps powered by nuclear or solar technology. We've never observed this in a natural object. What was observed, 3I Atlas, has become bluer than the sun itself, a colour shift that's abnormal for any comet. What should happen normally? Comets exhibit a white or faint blue hue as sunlight is scattered through ice particles. The emissions should have been in the longer wavelength spectrum, not the blue spectrum. Statistical improbability, the chance of a comet exhibiting blue emissions as intense as 3I Atlas while remaining cooler than the sun, is less than 0.5%. Possible explanation: this could be a clue to the object's composition. Nickel and metals reflect light in the blue wavelength, which suggests a more metallic structure. Could it be some sort of spacecraft? What was observed? Instead of a traditional tail, 3I Atlas has 7 visible jets that point in various directions. This suggests active propulsion. What should happen normally? A comet's tail is diffuse and points directly away from the sun, a result of gas and dust being pushed by solar radiation. Statistical improbability, the chance of a comet showing directional jets instead of a tail, especially without showing typical signs of volatile sublimation, is close to 0. What's going on? It's highly unlikely these jets are natural. They appear engineered, controlled. Could they be part of a propulsion system? Perhaps even an electromagnetic thrust mechanism. What was observed? 3I Atlas's approach vector places it within 9 degrees of the origin of the famous 1977 WOW signal. What should happen normally? The probability of a random object travelling along the exact same vector as a previously detected signal is infinitesimally small. What does it mean? Is this just a coincidence? Or is it possible that 3I Atlas is somehow related to the WOW signal? If it is, could we be dealing with intentional communication from an extraterrestrial source? Now let's talk about something even more bizarre: the political angle. On November 7, 2025, Dr. Avi Loeb went public with his claims about the mysterious acceleration of 3I Atlas. Since then, members of Congress have begun to take a deep interest. Rep. Anna Paulina Luna has publicly pushed for full transparency from NASA, especially regarding the unreleased high-resolution images from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. As Loeb himself pointed out during his Capitol Hill testimony, there's been a lack of transparency about the object's trajectory and the data collected. Why is NASA withholding the data from the public? Luna has even called for hearings to demand answers from NASA, with questions about why images of this object haven't been made public, and whether there's any national security concern surrounding the object's approach. As the clock ticks down to December 19th, the scientific community is ramping up efforts to gather as much data as possible. New images from Chile's VLT and Arecibo's successor projects are coming in, but it's still unclear if they'll provide any answers. What we do know, 3i Atlas's close pass to Earth will bring it within 0.08 AU just 6 days before Christmas. Will it fragment? Will new jets emerge? Or could we see smaller objects detach from its core? Experts agree that the next few weeks are critical, but will they provide clarity or further confirm the impossible? Stay tuned. The countdown to December 19th has begun, and the stakes have never been higher. The reality is, we don't know what 3i Atlas is. Is it a comet, a fragment, or a technological probe? But with each new piece of data, the mystery deepens. Could we be dealing with something far beyond our current understanding? A mothership travelling through the cosmos? Or will December 19th reveal that 3i Atlas is just a fragment of a shattered world from an ancient star system? Theories abound, but one thing is certain. We are running out of time. What happens in the next few weeks could change everything we thought we knew about space, about life beyond Earth, and even about our place in the universe. What do you think will happen on December 19th? Is 3i Atlas a comet, a fragment, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on every new breakthrough, especially when the data finally comes in. The truth is out there, and we're about to find it. Right now, the world is watching 3i Atlas. But while many telescopes are pointing toward the object, not everyone is speaking about it. On one side, you have transparency. Led by the Virtual Telescope project in Italy, Harvard's Avi Loeb, and the Galileo project team in Nevada. They're releasing data urging open conversation. But on the other, silence. NASA's HiRISE team, holding back high-res images, ESA's solar orbiter, offering no public comments, China's Chang'e mission, rumoured to be watching but publishing nothing. This lack of coordination is raising eyebrows. With such an unprecedented object in our skies, why wouldn't all agencies pool their data? Is it caution or control? Either way, the public is being left in the dark. And that leads us to one of the most uncomfortable possibilities. Let's talk about how 3i Atlas is moving. Most interstellar visitors, like Oumuamua and Borisov, cut through our solar system at steep angles, reflecting the randomness of deep space drift. But 3i Atlas is moving almost perfectly along the plane of the planets, known as the ecliptic plane. Let me be very clear. That's weird. That's not normal. That's intentional. It's like threading a needle from another star and hitting it dead center. If you're navigating deep space and you wanted to encounter life, where would you aim? The ecliptic, where all our planets orbit. It's the galactic superhighway of possibility. Could this be more than a coincidence? Some experts believe this trajectory is the strongest clue yet that 3i Atlas is navigating, not drifting. Data from the Virtual Telescope project, confirmed by Harvard's Galileo project, reveals something utterly bizarre. The spectral composition of 3i Atlas doesn't match any known comet. It's rich in nickel, it's poor in iron, which most natural objects in space contain. Now, nickel is highly reflective, it's strong, and it's rare in high concentrations unless smelted. Traditionally, comets are made of ice, dust, carbon, silicates, fragile things. But this is metallic. Scientists now wonder whether this object could be a composite alloy, a structure rather than a rock, possibly even a nickel-plated shell to withstand interstellar radiation. That would make 3i Atlas not just strange, but possibly engineered. And if true, it would mark the first time humanity has ever observed a non-natural object entering our solar system. A portable telescope array with cutting-edge sensors hums in the dark desert. This is the Galileo project, Dr. Avi Loeb's bold initiative to find technological relics of extraterrestrial civilizations. And right now they are fully locked on 3i Atlas. Their goal? Capture independent images, perform multi-wavelength analysis and, if possible, detect radio signals or infrared anomalies. Dr. Loeb stated, "If this is a probe, we'll see thermal irregularities. We'll see organized outflows. We may even detect modulation. Modulation. A patterned variation, like a beacon, a signal. Loeb has also proposed an audacious idea. Use the Juno spacecraft orbiting Jupiter for a theoretical intercept in March 2026. It would require insane trajectory changes, but not impossible, especially if the US government sees the object as more than science. Between November 6th and 9, the object pulsed, 5-fold brightness increases, recorded at precise intervals. According to Virtual Telescope project logs, first spike, Nova 6, 1944 UTC, second, Nov 7, 02.12 UTC, third, Nova 8, 0327 UTC. This isn't just sublimation, it's periodic energy discharge. Each pulse was accompanied by a brief shift in trajectory, too slight to be a gravitational tug. What natural object pulses with precision timing, directional changes, and increased radiance? Unless it's using energy, is 3i Atlas self-regulating? Or worse, is it activating? We now enter speculative territory, but even serious scientists are peeking over the edge. One theory, making the rounds in underground physics circles. 3i Atlas is not a visitor, it's a sleeper probe, a dormant observer placed long ago near the solar boundary, waiting for a signal, perhaps the detection of radio waves or atmospheric nuclear tests. Now it's awake. Proponents point to the structured jets, non-random path, and colour emissions as signs of long-dormant technology reactivating. In this theory, 3i Atlas was always there. We just never saw it. Until now. Another theory, more daring, more terrifying. 3i Atlas is not the whole. It's a piece, a shard of a larger vessel that either failed during interstellar travel, was intentionally split, or is part of a distributed array. This could explain its size, just 4 to 5 kilometers in diameter, the jet's stabilisation units, and its path, joining other fragments. Could there be more coming? A network of interstellar seeds drifting from a larger vessel. Some say it's not just visiting, it's seeding. So, what might happen when 3i Atlas reaches its closest point to Earth on December 19, 2025? Here are the top 5 possibilities. If it's a comet after all, solar heating and structural weakness could cause a breakup, like Shoemaker-Levy 9 did before hitting Jupiter. What we'd see: debris fields, gas clouds, no controlled motion. We may witness smaller fragments or spheres being ejected, like Comet, like pods. This could indicate an artificial staging event, a data collection system, or something else. The most shocking possibility: it steers. Again, that would confirm intelligent control beyond any doubt. Using December 19th as a moment to broadcast, either to us or someone else. Imagine radio telescopes detecting a modulated transmission, repeated patterns, pulses, or encoded data. The most chilling scenario: nothing happens. It simply passes. But in doing so, it scans us, maps us, logs our transmissions. A flyby not for contact, but for evaluation. If, and we must say if, 3i Atlas is artificial, we face a terrifying question. Is this first contact, or is this just a sensor? There's a huge difference. Contact implies intention, dialogue. But a sensor, a passive observer, that means something sent it. Long ago, perhaps from thousands of light years away. And it may be watching silently, without ever answering. And if it's watching, what is it watching for? As we approach December 19th, the mystery only deepens. What do you think 3i Atlas really is? A natural comet doing strange things? A broken probe still functioning? Or a technological object from another civilization? Drop your theory in the comments below. And if you want to be part of the journey as this unfolds, from radar imaging to potential contact, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and follow this channel. Because if the truth is what some suspect, we may already be living in a post-contact world. We just haven't realised it yet. That's when 3i Atlas will make its closest pass to Earth, coming within just 0.08 astronomical units, about 12 million kilometres away. That may sound far, but in cosmic terms it's terrifyingly close. Closer than Mars, closer than some solar flares, close enough for Earth's radar systems to bounce signals off of it directly. NASA will activate Goldstone's Deep Space Network, aiming radar pulses directly at the object. The European Space Agency, ESA, has approved live infrared scanning from the Gaia satellite. The James Webb Space Telescope, Comet JWST, is scheduled to attempt near-infrared imaging within hours of closest approach. Arecibo's successor array in Puerto Rico has planned full-sky radio sweeps for potential signal emissions. And down on Earth, thousands of amateur astronomers, backyard physicists and citizen scientists will join the effort, trying to capture any last-minute anomalies or signs of fragmentation, signalling or manoeuvring. One thing is certain, everyone will be watching. Let's talk about another unusual feature scientists are still trying to explain. Objects in space, especially natural ones, rotate. Spin is universal. Every asteroid we've tracked, every comet ever observed shows signs of torque, wobble, or drift. But 3i Atlas? None. High-resolution light curve analysis from Harvard's Galileo project shows no tumbling, no spin, and no precession. The object is either perfectly stabilized by internal gyros or active thrust, or oriented intentionally towards something. It's almost as if it's facing us. Between November 15, 25, 3 independent arrays in Australia, California, and South Africa scanned the path of 3i Atlas for any electromagnetic emissions. The result? Nothing. Absolute radio silence. But this opens an entirely new discussion. In the search for extraterrestrial technology, silence doesn't mean absence, it may mean stealth. As Loeb once said, a truly advanced civilization might not be broadcasting, it might be listening. Or worse, it might be observing silently. Which raises the question, if they're watching us, do they want us to know? Since Loeb's Newsmax interview and Rep and Luna's calls for transparency, the media has exploded with interest. Mainstream coverage still uses cautious words like anomalous object, active comet, and non-gravitational motion. But online, Reddit forums are filled with daily tracking charts and telescope photos. TikTok is overrun with conspiracy breakdowns and end-of-days theories. Twitter, or X, depending on what Elon calls it now, is home to the tag, Blue Comet Truth. And for many people, this isn't about science anymore. It's about meaning. Is this our first contact? A test? A warning? Or just the universe reminding us how little we actually know? Here's something beautifully eerie. December 19th is just 2 days before the winter solstice, the darkest, longest night of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. If you're standing in the southern US, Chile, or southern Europe, you may be able to see 3i Atlas low in the sky, glinting with its cold blue shimmer, just before dawn, almost ritualistic in its timing. Some are calling this the solstice gate, as if this object is passing through at the one moment in the year when ancient cultures aligned temples, pyramids, and observatories toward the stars. Is that intentional? Probably not, but maybe. The reality is, we don't know. If 3i Atlas does nothing, no change, no signal, no fragments, then it may pass quietly into the void again, leaving behind nothing but mystery and speculation. But if something happens, even the smallest unexpected detail, it could force a global reassessment of everything we thought we knew about: physics, technology, intelligence, contact. And if this is a probe, a sensor, or even a fragmented vessel, then we're already part of a bigger picture, a picture we never knew existed. Until now. So here we are. The year is 2025, the object is real. It manoeuvred, it accelerated, it turned blue. It defied physics, and it's coming close. Very close. On December 19th. Maybe it's a natural oddity. Maybe it's a mothership fragment. Or maybe it's watching. If you want to follow this story as it unfolds in real time, through radar, infrared, and direct images, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. I'll be releasing live updates during the closest approach and full breakdowns of whatever data comes in from NASA, ESA, Galileo project, JWST, and all global sky arrays. Leave a comment right now. What do you think we'll discover on December 19th? Do you think 3i Atlas is artificial? or just misunderstood? I read every comment. I'm curious what you think. Because whatever happens next, it's going to change history.